As the 2025 season and the current regulations come to an end, most fans would probably agree that they haven't quite done what was promised. The plan behind the ground effect cars was to significantly reduce the amount of dirty air that the cars created to allow for closer following for longer distances, to try and set up more overtakes and wheel-to-wheel racing. If you've watched any racing this season, then you'll know that F1 races still get processional. Drivers are incentivized to be gentle on their tyres and go long, and that means that races are decided on Saturday or on lap 1. An F1 race is 2 hours long. We want to see racing for 2 hours, not 2 minutes. The FIA knows it as well, and they're making changes not just for next season but for this year as well. Today, I'll check out the shock rule change that's coming in for one of the remaining races this year, and how the FIA are making F1 more interesting next year as well. So don't go anywhere. So, F1 heads to Qatar on the 30th of November for the penultimate race of this season. It's going to be hot, it's going to be challenging, and it could be vital to the outcome of the Drivers' Championship. The combination of the heat and the track surface makes the race a punishing affair for the tyres. Last season, Pirelli recommended a 25-lap maximum stint length to the teams, which many exceeded, pushing the tyres to the absolute limit of what they could do. This year, Pirelli won't be taking such a risk. Formula One's drivers will be forced to make at least 2 pit stops during the Qatar Grand Prix, with the series' official tyre supplier Pirelli setting a maximum stint length of 25 laps for the race at the Losail International Circuit. The Qatar Grand Prix is run over 57 laps, meaning drivers will have to change tyres at least twice. The event also includes a 19-lap sprint race, which the teams won't have to change tyres during. Pirelli has made the decision despite nominating the hardest tyres in its range for the event. The Losail circuit, which features many medium to high-speed corners, is one of the most demanding on the calendar for tyre performance. F1 has experienced problems with tyres at the circuit before as well. During the inaugural race in 2021, several drivers suffered from dangerous tyre blowouts. When F1 returned for its second event at the track in 2023, Pirelli discovered during the weekend that faults were developing in their tyres' sidewalls due to damage incurred on the track's curbs. That was very surprising, as the sidewalls are normally the last place that you expect to see wear in an F1 tyre. They imposed a limit of 18 laps per stint, which required drivers to pit 3 times during the race. Although the curbs were changed at the track for last year's race, Pirelli said that some tyres showed signs of severe wear after last year's Grand Prix. Several tyres, particularly the left front, had reached the maximum wear level, it said in a statement. These conditions, combined with a high lateral energy, had increased the structural fatigue of the construction. This will be the second time this year that F1 has effectively forced drivers to pit twice per race. It imposed a one-off rule at the Monaco Grand Prix, requiring drivers to change tyres twice. While the FIA has been forced into adding the rule due to the combination of the track and the conditions destroying even Pirelli's hardest tyres, it is a great change in terms of excitement around the race. With a maximum stint length in place, drivers have more freedom to push because they know they don't need to do 35, 40 or even 45 laps on a tyre. Their pit wall can't ask them to do a target plus 10 or anything ridiculous like that. You've got 25 laps maximum. Just give it the best you can for 25 laps. That encourages racing. It encourages the drivers to get close and go for overtakes, and that should make the Grand Prix an absolutely incredible watch. To add to it, as this is a sprint weekend, each driver will be supplied with 2 sets of hards, 4 sets of mediums, and 6 sets of softs. Depending on how the tyre wear for the weekend looks, you could have drivers using the hard tyre for the 19-lap sprint race after having done no running on it in free practice. Then they don't know the pace or how it holds up over that stint length. That uncertainty could create some incredible racing. We might see teams taking a risk on running the hard in free practice to get the data, but then only having 1 set for the sprint and Sunday's Grand Prix. It's a tough decision that the teams will have to make. We could see a lot of uncertainty and some big calls from some teams, which could pay off. Of course, putting stint limits in place for one-off races isn't going to improve F1 long-term. That is where next season's new rules need to do some heavy lifting. Everything the FIA has been saying implies that the racing is going to get much better next season, but obviously, the proof will be on track. As a little taster though, some new FIA rules will definitely be improving how F1 looks. Before I talk about that though, if you want to stay in the loop with everything happening ahead of next season's revolutionary new rules, then make sure to press the like button and subscribe to F1 Reverse. Thanks a lot. So, on Friday, at the FIA Commission meeting in London, a new rule was agreed for next season which will completely change how F1's cars look on track. A recent trend has seen F1's cars stripped of paint as the teams look to save every single gram in pursuit of performance. At its most extreme, the trend meant that if you viewed the cars from the wrong angle, they all looked essentially the same, especially on the TV screen. Every car was 75% black carbon fiber, and, especially on the first lap, trying to work out what was going on was almost impossible at times. That's changing next season though. The FIA's Formula One Commission has agreed new rules for car liveries to ensure the cars stand out better and to limit moves to save weight by stripping bodywork back to bare carbon fiber. The new rule for 2026 requires all the cars to have a minimum 55% of surface area seen from the side or above covered by painted or stickered liveries as opposed to bare carbon fiber surfaces. The objective of this measure is to increase visual differentiation between cars, the Commission said in the announcement after the meeting. This is a great change for Formula One. It has absolutely zero effect on the actual racing, but having the cars stand out on track is better for everyone. So many F1 liveries are absolutely iconic, and seeing the cars turn into featureless carbon fiber monstrosities in recent years has been a real shame. We'll have to wait until January for the livery reveals to see how the teams will deal with the new rules, but more colour and personality are guaranteed. The other big discussion that was had was about Pirelli and Formula One tyres. A proposal to explore mandatory 2 pit stops for Grand Prix was discussed, along with adjustments to tyre specifications, tyre life limits, and the use of 3 compounds during the race. The discussion centered on feedback on analysis and simulations from the teams and Pirelli. No changes were agreed at the meeting, but it was agreed that talks on this topic would continue during the 2026 season. What that means is that they want to wait and see for now, which makes sense. Next season is the biggest change to Formula One's rules in the history of the sport. Making another change like 2 mandatory pit stops per race before the season has even begun would be a big call. Better to take a season, see how the racing goes, and then if there is a benefit to forcing 2 pit stops, then they can make the change. Monaco was an improvement with a mandatory 2-stop, and when we have had 2-stop races this season, they've been more exciting than the 1-stop races. We'll have to see how the Qatar Grand Prix plays out in a couple of weeks' time, but with a mandatory 2-stop and the Drivers' Championship potentially resting on the outcome, then 2-stop races could become the norm going forward. What do you think of the change for the Qatar Grand Prix? Do you like it? And are you happy to hear the liveries are back on the menu for next season? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.